Hey everybody, thanks for swinging by this evening. I just thought I'd do a real quick live webinar here just to discuss a couple of levels that I've noticed here for the week and where we could potentially go to. Nothing too serious. I don't know that I'll be doing a trade if I don't see one. I will talk about one trade that I just put out there a couple hours ago. Look at this Aussie trade. Oh man, if you weren't part of our membership group, you should be, because I'll just a nice reaction. I'll tell you the setup on this here in a few minutes, but this one's panned out nicely, and the target's a little bit higher than here, so just as an FYI. But just thought I'd talk again about the dollar index starting real quick. It's been kind of an interesting week. You can see here on the weekly on the US dollar, we've been trading inside. Really inside this obviously this consolidation range. We're literally right in the middle of the 50% range, and price is just stuck. Doesn't want to go lower, doesn't want to go higher. I don't know if it's going to take a major economic news event to start shaking this thing loose and get it moving in the right direction, but just to give you some perspective, it can last for a while. You can see here, these ranges in here were a little more expanded, but this is a larger consolidation range right in here, and you can see how long that lasted. This again is a very, very tightened, very coiled up version of this, but similar idea. Right down in here, look at this area in here. There's another big area right in here, and that lasted, just to kind of give you a perspective, that lasted for about, what is that, January to, yeah, pretty much March, end of April, I think it, April, March, Jesus, what am I saying here? April, May, it's the next month after April, May to June. So that lasted a good 6 months before it finally broke up. But what a breakup. I mean, that was a huge movement to the upside. But you can kind of see, I mean, we're definitely in a range here. This one right back here, very, very similar to what we've got. This one lasted, this one lasted for, from March till July. So you can kind of see, like, these periods of consolidation. There's another one here. This lasted from January, February, March, April till September. You can see there's a number of these things that happen from time to time. Typically happens after large periods of runs, and so you can see just another regular consolidation. But here's the thing. When they get into these environments, you really have to be very, very selective about the trades that you're taking, because not all associated foreign currency pairs, which are normally coupled, and what I mean by coupled is that they run in tandem, or they're a mirror opposite of it. A lot of them do become decoupled, and they actually do their own thing for no rhyme or reason, and so you got to watch that. Whatever this is doing, the other foreign currency pair that you're looking to do the same may not. So you definitely have to watch that one. One of those examples is the pound dollar. I'll zip out to a weekly. You can see pound dollar has been running up, where wow, hang on one sec, guys. I'm just going to make my life easier here. So you can see we've had a nice run up on the pound dollar. We actually just took out the old high here just this week. And you can see the US weekly, again, trapped in that consolidation. So there's one example of price not coinciding with what the US dollar is. And typically anything that's paired with the US dollar should do relatively run in tandem with it, relatively speaking. Obviously, every currency has its own economic drivers and interest rates and everything else associated with it. So you definitely have to do your due diligence and read into that a little bit and find out what particular market is stronger versus what's weaker. For example, between the euro and the pound dollar, it's a real good idea to get in sync with something like the Euro GBP, because in an area of consolidation, which the US dollar is in, that's when the GBP is really going to give you some good readings. And to give you an example of that, we've got the Euro GBP making a big push up today. You see this move here, and when I say today, it's still actually Wednesday, my current time zone. It is actually midnight New York time, 20 minutes after midnight New York time. So obviously Thursday morning, April 19th. But this was Wednesday's trading. You can see a big push up on Euro GBP. And what did that do to the euro? Pretty much nothing. I'll show you. This was the euro on Wednesday. Did absolutely nothing to it. Usually when you see a reaction like that in the Euro GBP, something like this, the euro will either, if the Euro GBP is going up, it will take the euro with it, or vice versa. The one that saw it, though, was the pound. And you can see the pound dropped. I'll put the data biters on. So this is Wednesday's trading. You see the pound was the one that reacted. And again, no reaction today out of the US dollar, just basically consolidated. It did finish up from where it opened. It opened right here, and it did finish up about just under 20 pips on the day, which is good. But still, we're not getting fireworks and big range movement days yet, unfortunately, and that's what we're looking for. So personally, I know there's a lot of guys out there who trade the things like the Euro USD like the back of their hand. They know it, they live it, they love it, trade it all day and all night. I'm not necessarily one of those guys. Me personally, my trading style, I definitely watch the Euro USD, and I peg it against the US dollar, and these two pairs are running in fairly similar unison, with the exception of a few small items here or there, small trades here or there. But I'm not a big consolidation trader. You can see this is just in a big consolidation. I don't really enjoy those types of moves. I'd rather look for something like the pound, where you get these big explosive movements, and that's what I'm trading. So just to kind of give you an idea, but again, not that there's anything wrong with either types of trading. You just have to be versed with one or the other. And I particularly just like to trade the my pairs of focus are Euro USD, pound dollar. Obviously, I get all of my readings off of the US dollar index, all my bias, and the Euro GBP. I don't actually physically trade the US dollar or the Euro GBP. I just use that for bias purposes. I do trade the euro when it's not in a big tight consolidation range like it's in, and I do trade the pound dollar. And US CAD. By the way, guys, I made a call on US CAD today. That was beautiful. The news came out at, I think it was 10 a.m. New York time, somewhere in and around there. And I said we're going to get a rundown. Let me just bring it up here. So I said we're going to get a rundown. Let me just remember what we were doing here. Price was somewhere in and around here. We made a high and it started to run down, and that's what these lines here are for. I said one of these lines here is going to hold off the downward momentum, and I called this. I can bring up the chat window and the level. You know what? Why don't I? Oh, you probably might not be able to see it. Hang on. Give me a second. Let me just actually look for that. It was earlier today, so I got to go through a whole lot of. Just in case you guys aren't part of our membership group, we have a live chat room. We chat with traders all day, all night, and so I'll just maybe swing this over so you can kind of see. It's F45 chat room, and we have a whole bunch of members on there. But right here, see, this was the US CAD in the morning. And this was just me putting out the trade that there's something I was calling the highs, the equal highs up here as the target, and once price slammed into here. But I'm just going to try and find the chart that I put out with. There it is, right here. Whoops. So I'm going to move it over and go like this, and then go like that. This was the CAD. So this is when I posted the chart a couple hours before that movement happened, and these were the levels, the lows that I was taking price off of, and you can see the reaction that ensued from there. And I said the target that I'm looking for are these highs right here. It could go all the way up here and wherever else, but I said that's the target right there. And that is exactly what panned out today. It was a beautiful, gorgeous trade. Swing out to an hourly so you can see. Right, as I was saying, I posted that chart when price was slamming down here. I said one of these two levels in here, that was going to be the low, and it actually hit the low perfectly on that line. Like I said, those areas were added in before I posted that chart, before price hit it. And you can see the beautiful reaction that happened, and price traded up and through about 35 pips. So beautiful trade today. If you guys were in on it in the membership group, you would have got wind of that, and you could have taken advantage of it. Now from here, I don't know where price is going to go. It's falling off nicely here. I would anticipate maybe a little bit of support in here to see a reaction higher. But the CAD has been tanking, and I would expect further downside to continue. This is a level that I'm looking at, 124.50, just as a starter. So if there's any CAD traders out there, now you know. But like I say, I was just kind of coming back to just sort of spitballing earlier about trading in consolidations like this, or trading in something like this, where you're getting movement and quick movement. Like that trade, it was a couple hours, and we ended up netting. I got in here, and we ended up netting like 104 pips. I mean, it was massive. Beautiful trade, worked out perfectly, and that was just ahead of the news that was sent out. And I'll give you another example of the exact same thing that just happened. And I haven't looked at this chart for a few minutes, but I'm hoping it's still at the same place. Oh, it's even higher than what it was. So you can see here, same type of idea. So trade price has been consolidating. This is the Aussie dollar. Price has been consolidating for the past 2 weeks on the Aussie dollar. Popped up in here, ran all the highs, came back down to the middle of the consolidation range. Really chopped sideways, did absolutely nothing. And then today, about 3 hours ago, was the some fairly big news. I'll bring that up here. It was this news right here. See this right here, the employment change and the unemployment rate for the Aussie dollar. I put another signal out to my membership group, and I said buy here, and our target is actually way up there. I don't know if we're going to get that target or not. I'm looking at the lows of this consolidation area in here. Early profit, I'm thinking it probably will run even a little bit higher than that. But what price ended up doing, I'll just play this out to you. I put that signal out, and again, I got the screenshot of when it went out before it happened. And I'll just go down to a 15. Price was trading up in here. It was actually coming up I think into here. I put this out at 7:30 New York time, and the news was at 9:30, so 2 hours later. And price was coming in here, it's chopping and started to run down, and I was thinking, because I put my target all the way down here, my entry all the way down here, and I was thinking, they're going to do one of those where they just do a fake out and then they rip it higher. And then they started running all the way up here, and it took a lot not to try and chase price, on my end anyway. And it ended up, that news came out, smashed it up, and then dropped it like a rock, and it actually came a few pips lower than my entry. I didn't get a perfect entry on it. I was hoping to get a retest just kind of off of this old consolidation high in here, and then a rejection. It actually ran down past my entry by just a little over 7 pips, so not a bad drawdown. But you can see here, this is just a demo account, guys. This isn't a live trading account or anything like that. So you can see sort of the reaction that ensued, and I've got a good target higher. So I just kind of wanted to jump on and just tell you about some of the stuff that we've been doing, some of the calls we've been making, some of the levels that we're watching. US dollar, it's just really been shot. I mean, this was, we're into Thursday's trading now. Here's Monday's trading up to here. This is the open, Monday's open right here, this line. Still have yet to break through that. Not to say it may not happen. We could get some kind of reaction ensue that off of these levels in here, and we could see a move higher. Ultimately, I'd like to see them take out this area. See this high rate in here? I'd like them to take that high out, and I'll just move this over here so when it actually happens, because it could take a couple of days. I'd like them to see them ram back into the lows in this consolidation area, and then hopefully even push higher, because I do have a few levels on my chart higher than that. And obviously this is not the first time you've heard me talk about that, but I just figured I'd bring it up for repetition's sake. So, but just look at this. This is a 4-hour chart. Look at the candles in here. Like just wick, wick, wick up, wick down, wick up, and it's just right in the middle of this range. If I took a fib off this, I bet you it'd be pretty damn close. Look at that. Just about, there's the 50%, and we're just coming down right to the 50% of this move. So price is really chopping sideways. I don't really enjoy trading with pairs that look like this, because it's very low probability trades, and if anything, you're just scalping 20 pips here, 30 pips there. I'd rather get a big move. We had a big move in the pound dollar last week. That was 100+ pips. It was this trade. This was last week. It was this trade in here. I'd have to go down to a 1-hour chart. And by the way, I think just for record's sake, the euro I think we're going to be going under these lows here. And there's a bunch of stops right here, and I think they drove down here. They're coming back up. They're creating sort of a false sense of support right here. What I believe they're going to do is they're going to jam price up, potentially sweep the highs up here, and then ram it back down. And I think these lows here are going to be the first target. Now, with that being said, if these levels in here get broken, all bets are off, and you don't want to be looking at that. But that's sort of what I'm looking at for the cable. But again, what I was saying earlier, like these are the type of environments that you want to trade. I got into a trade last week. I think it was last Thursday, if I can recall. And what did we? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, it was this one right here. Price came back down and slammed right into the low right here. That's I literally got in almost to the pip. I think there might have been a 5, maybe not even a 5 pip drawdown. I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but very, very minimal drawdown. Price came slammed in. I think there was a news event that happened right before, and look at the reaction. Just a gorgeous move up higher. I wish I would have held longer, because that would have been huge. I think I got in at 141.45. No, you know what I did? I got in at 141.55. I didn't want to miss that trade, so I was a little more conservative with my entry. So I got in on the lows right here, and we got out here. No, it was the next day. It was 105 pips. It was somewhere right up in here somewhere that I got in. Didn't get the full range, of course, but who cares? I mean, 100 pips is 100 pips. I'll take that. That's a good weekly haul. But again, like I say, I should have held, because it would have been about 220 pips. But that's hindsight is 2020, and you're never going to go broke by taking a profit. So if you can grab 100 pips out of the market in a multi-day move, in literally, I think it was like a day and a half. Actually, it wasn't even a full 24 hours. It went through the next trading day that I held it, but it ran at early London and grabbed it. So a couple of great trades there that we've taken, but I just kind of wanted to just jawbone here more than anything tonight, and just have a chat. If you guys have any questions, Ben, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us as usual. I just, like I say, I just kind of wanted to jump on and just have a quick chat. And if you guys have any questions, fire them my way. There's really not much going on tonight. I'm actually going to do a New York Open session tomorrow, and I think that's where the bulk of the activity is going to be. It is London trading, though, so we can definitely hunt for something right now. Not to say that there isn't going to be something going on. And just give me one sec, guys. I just got a text message here. I'm waiting for some marketing literature to come my way here, and I've got my graphic designing lady is up late working with me, because I'm always working. Just so you guys know, it's actually ridiculous. I think about the amount of time that I work throughout the day. I don't work straight, obviously. Like, I'm not sitting there, you know, at my desk for 24 hours a day. But I work, I mean, legit 24 hours a day. You know, I just don't do it consecutively, but I mean, you know, an hour here. I might take, you know, I might do a 3-hour stretch in front of the old screens, and I'll get up and stretch my legs for an hour, and then I'll go plug back in for a couple more hours and just sort of do it that way. And I'd say I'd probably work for anywhere from, you know, God, I don't know, 14 hours a day. There's a period of time when my son gets home from school where I don't do anything until he goes to bed, and that's family time. For about 4 or 5 hours there, and then I'm back on the computer working away for the rest of the night. So one sec, guys. I just gotta pull up a quick email here. Apparently I got 30 seconds. All right. There we go. That looks good. I've got another business that I run on the side, guys, that I'm about to send out a mailer that to about 3,000 or 4,000 people, and I got to make sure that it's right, because it goes out first thing in the morning tomorrow, and so I got to make sure it's good to go. All right, I think we're good to go. Sorry about that. Nothing like doing a live session and having life get in the way, huh? Yeah, it is what it is. I'm doing this for free, so you get what you pay for, I guess, right? Yeah, anyway. I might have to look at something here in a minute. But, you know what? Give me one... Sorry, guys. Be a good time to go get a coffee or something. Just give me literally one more minute. I just got to send back a response to this email, and then I'll be right back with you guys. And just take a second and have a look through the charts. If you guys see something that pops off at you, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to pull that chart up and spitball a couple of levels with you that interest me, and see if it coincides with your overall trading analysis. And you can either get confirmation or completely opposite results from what I was thinking, and go with your guts. So just give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. I will be about another 1 minute here. Okay. Okay. I guess we're good to go. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see if there's any questions here. No, you guys must have your trading on lock down then. Anyway, that was my theory on US CAD. I don't see anything. This was quite the trade in here that I was looking at. Ultimately, I think US CAD is well, I showed you earlier. That's the level I think we're probably going to go to. Had a nice retracement here. I'd be definitely interested to see what's going to happen when it starts to get back to this level here. I wouldn't necessarily be anticipating a run higher, but anything could happen with this pair, to be honest with you. And there's another level up in here I wouldn't mind them slamming back into. It'd be these old lows, and so on and so forth, up higher. But if you look at this, this is a nice downward momentum that we've seen here. This is just a run on stops, and I think they will jam it forward from here. I don't think there's a lot of news happening on the Canadian dollar. I'd have to double check that for throughout the week. But if there is some news, let me just bring this up here. Where are we? Thursday, Euro, some GBP. There is some very, very minimal impact Canadian dollar news tomorrow. And Friday there's some there's CPI and core retail sales. So we could just go sideways for, or not necessarily sideways, but we could trade right in. See this level here and this level here. We could just trade sort of in that block for the day tomorrow, or I guess Thursday today, technically. And then Friday with that news could be the driver downward. So that could be potentially what we would see. Because if you look at this, so Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's trading, we're above the high on Monday. Okay, so this was the high that Monday created for the week. It traded down, and then now we're back through that again. So if we go out to a weekly chart, you see this. We've got a bit of a bull move right here at sort of a level that would be anticipated, a bullish move higher. Honestly, and here's a couple of the levels that I was talking about, the old low that comes in right here. So this could be one level that they could possibly be reaching for, but ultimately, again, I think we're going to be running lower on this thing, and this would be the first target. And if they want to keep dumping it, then we're going to be looking for the lows in here. So that's sort of what I foresee on the US CAD coming to fruition, but I'll watch for that going into Thursday here. Right now, I don't really see anything. They've really traded this range quite a bit here, and I'll be interested to see what happens if they want to come back down to this level here. If they want to start driving through it, then they're going to take out the lows and sweep these and start continuing lower. And if not, they're going to bounce, and they probably will trade up higher into this consolidation range up here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for CAD. There was a small trade I did on UJ. It was actually one of the that chat room that I saw you. One of the guys in our group had brought it up that USD yen was the dollar yen was probably going to hit some support down in this area here. See this consolidation range back here, and price ended up coming right down into it, but more so the lows right here that got it. And then so they drove down once, popped it up, and then it was a failure swing, and then they ran it. And I actually I didn't get the high here. I just did a small demo trade on that, and I didn't get the high. I actually moved my stop up to about the middle of this down candle right here, and I just left it and walked away. It ended up tagging me out, came back down, and then ripped higher one more time. I just didn't really have the patience to watch it, to be honest with you. I had a lot on the go, and a lot of other trades. Like I said, that US CAD trade that I was looking at, and I was looking at some oil stuff there. But it ended up ripping up nicely. I got in. I didn't get in right at the low, unfortunately. The spread put me up a bit. But that would have been a nice 55 pip trade on UJ, and that's a good range for UJ if you can get that in the haul. So basically, what I'm trying to drive at here, I think the doldrums of March are sort of over. March was a difficult month. It definitely had its challenges, and we as a signal group and a trading group definitely kind of felt the pain of that. We had not all of our trades were on the money. We definitely had some ones that hit our stop losses, and we had some good trades though. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it definitely wasn't one of the breakout months that we normally have. I mean, a normal month that we would have would be a minimum of anywhere from 200 to 400 pips on average is sort of what we're averaging right now, and that goes back since our inception of last September. So granted, we don't have a huge range of past data to work with, but with that being said, we've been doing pretty damn well in that time frame, and I think that that just goes to show. Not past performance isn't always indicative of future results, as we had a March where I would say we might have captured maybe 30 pips, 20 pips, maybe 50 pips, on the month, and it wasn't a great month. We were positive, but it was, a lot of hard work. So, but now into April, it's just like every trade in April is just shooting off the charts. It just makes sense. There's a lot of activity, a lot of momentum, and I want to see that continue. So. Anyway, that's kind of UJ, Aussie, US CAD, pound dollar. Let's see what the pound dollar is doing here. Like I say, it's kind of creating two sort of equal lows right in here. So I think what we're going to see is lower prices on the pound dollar for the week, at least into tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen Friday. We got some news again coming up tomorrow and Friday for the pound. Nothing too serious. But I do like these lows here. I think what it could do is so this was Monday here. This is the open of the week was right there, right at the top of that candle there, and so we're just below the open of the month. But you see what price did here? It went up to the open of the week and smashed back down. So that could be a pretty significant area of resistance right up in here. But what I would like to see is price, if it does want to continue lower, take a quick run up here, just jam just above this high here, maybe run, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 pips at the most, and then do a quick rejection, and then trade softer. And ultimately, like I say, these lows would be that I'd be looking at on the week. So what would that look like? Let's just do this. Basically kind of something like this is sort of what I'd be looking at for cable if we get continued momentum downward. Now, what needs to happen is Euro GBP, that pair I was talking about earlier, and you see this movement upward, that pushed the pound dollar lower. We need to see a continuation higher. So it needs to start coming up and grabbing some liquidity above here, and ultimately above here would be awesome. But that's what needs to happen in order to drive the pound dollar higher. This has to release higher as well too. More than likely, we're probably going to see continued consolidation in the euro. So nothing new there, which just means they're going to move and allow the pound dollar to move a bit, is what I'm hoping for anyway. So let's just get a level. If we say the high comes in there, and it's 30 pips up to that low there. Like I say, I wouldn't want to see any more than about 20 pips. So just a pop higher, a wick. I don't want to see a candle close higher than there, and then a rejection down. And again, that'll be my target. So let's say we got about 10 pips up above that, and down there. That could be a nice 100 pip range on the day. That would be a hell of a trade to wrap up the week. And I'll tell you, I'd be done trading after that. Personally, obviously, that's a good week so far. So you have to wait to see if that pans out. That news, again, I don't think that came out until, I gotta bring it up. 4:30 a.m. New York time. So we've got about 3 hours, almost 4 hours before that news comes out. Yeah. So that could be sort of what drives it. And to be honest with you, I don't know that I'll be up for that. I think I'm going to call it a day here pretty soon. Go get some shut-eye because I want to be up for the New York session. And if the New York trading session has not dumped down lower to grab that, those lows, then I'll be looking to take a trade in New York. So that's the pound dollar. Again, guys, if you have a pair that you want me to look at, so I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick. So like, I'm not going to be drawing this out, dragging this out or anything. I just want to jump on real quick, just say what's up, and you know, see how sort of the markets have been trending on the week, and going from there. Let's see, pound dollar. What haven't we covered? Dave covers gold. He covered gold earlier today. He was calling for higher prices on gold, and you can see higher prices ensued. I can't remember. He did somewhere right in here. He was talking about higher prices. It ran up a bit, and he is looking for this high here to get taken out. So chances are pretty good that that's going to happen here in the next little while. Crude oil. This thing has been on an absolute tear. Look at this thing. Man, I wish I would have just got long and held this right down here. That would have been a monster $6 plus move in a very, very short period of time, in 2 weeks. That, just so you guys know, a trade of that magnitude of a $6 swing in oil with one contract, you're looking literally at $10 per penny times 600. I mean, that's a hell of a week and a half worth of trading right there if you could have got that low and exited somewhere out where we're right now. And that's one contract. So just to keep you abreast of how powerful crude oil can be and some of these commodities can be if you actually know what you're doing and you're trading them. Now, with that being said, it can obviously go the exact opposite way, which is why you always trade with stop losses. And you have certain take profit points throughout your trade management. So at certain intervals and targets, you know, for instance, 30 ticks or 30 pips up, you take a little bit of profit, move your stop to break even. That way you don't lose anything, no matter what price does. Same thing at 60 and 100 and on and on and on, depending on what your target is. So, you know, obviously mitigate your risk and use appropriate risk according to your account size and everything else. So I'm not going to get into the details on that, but too much. But crude oil, I think we're going to see 69.60 here before too long. This was sort of the prediction I had thrown out in the chat room, that I'd like to see price. Zoom in here. You see how I'm going to go down to 15. You see how price is just sort of creating these lows. Now it's just chopping sideways. So it popped up, came back down, popped up, came down, popped up, came back down, popped up. I want to see it run down, and I want to see it just tag off the high right here and reject, and then I want to see this 68, what am I saying, 69.60 level tagged on the day. That would be a beautiful run if we could get that on crude oil to cap off the week. And then more than likely the rest of the week will probably trade a little bit softer, as most heavy traders, big funds and everything cap off the week on Friday. And you typically see a reduction in the run of price. So let's just say, for instance, we got a run. Oops. Flip it around. So that was our run in the week. More than likely, we'll probably see, if we do get that high there, more than likely we'll probably see a run back down just to kind of see the 79 or 72, right around the 75% retracement level to cap off the week. So I'm hoping price trades up here, and then again, more than likely we'll probably end up somewhere in and around here, ish. You know, I'd say probably somewhere right around there, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But again, I'm just looking for a quick, sharp drop down. And oil actually has been interesting lately. It's really been moving quite a bit throughout the overnight and into early London. I've noticed I've been seeing a lot of quick movement on it. 30 seconds, guys. I just got a new email. I'm just going to do a quick skim. There we go. That looks much better. Starting to get picky about some of this marketing literature that I'm putting out. You definitely want to make sure you're putting out the right stuff to your potential clients. Marketing 101. Take the time and do it right the first time. Yeah, sure. That looks good. Perfect. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, that being said, that's oil. I just want to talk about one other quick thing here I noticed today. What was it? Is it orange juice? No. I'd like to see a move down lower in orange juice, by the way, though. That's what I'm looking for, and then a rejection and a move higher. Sugar. I have done nothing with this chart, just so you know, for the past week and a half. I think early last week, where price was trading. So we would have been this week here. So price would have been somewhere in and around here. I posted this chart, and again, it's all time-stamped in my chat room. I said I'm very interested in sugar, and I'm very interested in sugar at this level right here. This 0.1170, 0.1180 level. I want to see what price does in here. Now, I'm just going to show you something. This is sugar over the past year. See these two equal highs up here? Very interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. They've run this thing down, and unfortunately, I'd have to go out to a different charting software to get, like, you know, the past 1 year, 2 year, and so on, to show you a little bit more of this. But we're coming down to a very, very interesting level right now where we could see some support and we could see price bounce. Now, the beauty part of this is you don't have to panic. You ease into something like this. I talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, but if we do see a bounce here, I'd be looking for them to bounce higher, have a nice rejection, bounce, come back down, and trade not quite as deep, just a little bit shallower. Don't quite take out the low that it creates. I don't know where it's going to create the low, just for the record. It could do this for another week and then push down one more time. I don't know. That's why you don't want to just jump into price and react at it just because it hits a level. You have to wait for it, watch, and see how it reacts. But I'd be looking for it to react off of this level, trade up, and then trade back down, retrace a bit, not quite as shallow again as whatever the low is, and then look to get long. And this would be my target. And again, remember what I was just talking about, crude oil contracts, and you know, $10 per tick on a crude oil chart. Sugar is $12.50 a tick, and let me tell you, if you got off a long down here, up to here, up to 15, what am I at here? 1512 from, you know, essentially 1170, call it. Whoops, I just totally let that go by accident. I'm not saying you're going to get the low or get the high exactly, but 350 ticks times 12, where's my calculator? 350 times, oops, like that's over $4,000 a contract for one little contract, just that move there alone. So I don't know the size of your demo trading account or anything of that nature, but very interesting looking trade to me. These are the kind of setups that you look at in the early spring, such as where we are right now, and you look for something like this to finish and complete. Yeah, sometime, you know, maybe summer time frame, fall time frame, somewhere in and around there. But nice little swing trade. So that's just kind of caught my eye. The other one that caught my eye was actually natural gas, and I ended up, now see, this is why you don't want to just trade when price hits a level. Had I have gone in and put a trade on today, and this was the level that I was looking at, I wanted to see price come into here and bounce, and the lowest I wanted to see it go was basically this line right here. That's what price did. It came in and slammed in and started to reject, and I was up here thinking, oh, okay, that's the level. We should see some higher prices off of this move here. It didn't. It just powered through and now just scooped the lows again here. These two equal lows, scooped those. We're probably going to end up trading higher on natural gas because we are coming into the summer. But just, again, just a good example as to why you don't want to just because price hits a level doesn't necessarily mean it's going to react right off that level. But like something like this, where price just slammed into that top of that candle right there and didn't really want to see any willingness to continue, that could be a tip-off point. I'd want to watch price develop a little bit further, but if she starts to go, she could move and take out this high here. Natural gas is, again, one of those ones where, look at that, right? So if this is the actual bottom of this move down here, again, that would be another big movement. So anyway, guys, I don't want to sit here and yap too much because I'm sure we've all got better things to do, but just kind of wanted to jump on and just give some shameless propaganda at you. Our website is f45trading.com, free for 14 days. We do trade signals. I wouldn't necessarily say they come out daily because they don't, because not every single trade setup happens every single day. There's 3 analysts that work with us, and you know, we don't trade every single day. For instance, and I'll just kind of give you for instance, we had a guy who I'll get to your question just in 1 second, Ben. The guys, I had a discussion earlier this week that I typically don't trade on Mondays, you know, London Open or New York Open. I just let Monday develop because you get a higher probability throughout the week. And typically Fridays, unless there's a lot of news items going on, I typically don't trade Fridays also. So you'll get signals usually starting Monday evening, going into London Open on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And again, if something's happening Friday, you'll get something Friday. But not every single day we send out trades, but we try to send out the highest probability trade signals that we can. So anyway, you get that for free for 14 days at f45trading.com, along with instant signals direct to your phone, chat rooms, these live webinars. These aren't going to be free for very much longer, just so you guys know. I am going to put a cap on this here in a little while. And, follow us at F45 Trading on Twitter or on Instagram at Future45 Trade Signals. We send out a ton of stuff as well, too. A bunch of updates and, again, all that shameless propaganda that you know and love. So we can't get it through our lives without it these days. It follows us around everywhere. Ads, 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 and more ads. Everyone's trying to sell something, so... Not that I'm trying to hard sell you guys or anything like that. I love jumping on here and just kind of bullshitting and chatting and talking about the markets and where we could go and everything else. So it's a passion of mine. I've always loved trading. Been doing it for coming up on 20 years now, which is amazing to me. And don't get me wrong, I have not been doing it well for 20 years. Lord knows that. And I started in my late teens. And I'm almost 40 now here, so I've been going for all through my 20s and through my 30s, and haven't been trading for myself the entire time. Obviously, I was using a stockbroker and everything else, and then I had my eyes opened up to the power of commodities and forex, and obviously as of late crypto. And so I've been trading and focusing on that as opposed to stocks for the most part. So. Okay, sorry, Ben, your question. Are you looking to trade sugar with future options? Yeah, I mean, you certainly can. I mean, future options are definitely, if you know how to trade options, by all means, you can just go in and straight in and buy the futures contract, though. You don't have to trade the option if you don't want to, but the options are very, very powerful. They cost you virtually nothing. And you get a lot of power out of that very small range of movement. And here's the thing about options. So you noticed, open interest dropped as per, yeah. So yeah. That's kind of one of the keys that you definitely want to look for, right? There's definitely certain subtle nuances to trading that you start to learn over time, and like that sugar trade, who knows, right? If you know how to trade options, you could certainly weather, a couple hundred. And again, this is not trade advice. I'm not a licensed broker. Do not trade commodities, nothing like that. So, don't get me wrong. This is not trade advice. But if you do understand how options work and how the contracts, roll over and expire and everything else, and all the theta, gamma, rho, all that stuff works, and if you're interested in that, again, you don't have to do an options trade on it, but if you do know how to run all that stuff, you could risk literally, a couple $100, on a couple of options that may expire, 6 months out from now, and capture a move like that. This would take, like I say, at least 6 months to transpire, and I would be doing, a minimum option expiration of at least 6 months on a trade like that. But yeah, Ben, like you say, I mean, that's just some of the things that you look for. I mean, you know exactly what you're doing on that end. You don't have to listen to me. Obviously, you know how to trade and what you're doing. But here's my take. So this is me on options. Extremely confusing, and I paid a lot of money for options and courses. I literally spent, oh God. And I took it twice. That's how much I loved it. I took it twice. I think each course, and that options course was somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 months, 3 months to 4 months. And I learned everything there is about options. But with options, the contract rollovers, the third Thursday of every month, et cetera, and the expiration time, and just the different patterns and things that you can trade on options. I mean, it's unbelievable, the different patterns. Like you can do, it's kind of like harmonic trading, the different type of spreads and condors and and everything else that you can put on, iron condors. And I actually had a guy who he stopped teaching. He went to go. The guy was so brilliant with options. I mean, you ever met one of those guys that are so brilliant and they just they talk about stuff that you have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but that their level of knowledge is just so impressive. I had a mentor like that who was teaching the options course, and he offered free private tutoring. He actually offered it to me for free because it was just a small group, and he really didn't care because he was not making his money through the teaching people how to trade. He actually ended up getting poached by a hedge fund, and now that guy's probably making billions of dollars now. But I mean, the guy is just an absolute savage when it comes to options trading, and he basically showed me, I mean, what he could show me, what I could understand with my limited brain power. But I definitely look at options. I haven't really dabbled in them other than, again, sitting in a demo account and looking at the different type of patterns and trades that you can put on. And the guy was literally showing me how to do absolute risk-free trades. Like, that's unheard of. Like, he would show us strategies where you would go in and you would put in, a couple $100 for an option, and the way that he would do it, he'd put it together, buying the put and hedging it with the naked call option or whatever it was, and just graphing this stuff out on the screen, and I was just blown away. And I mean, the guy was, like I say, literally a savage. But I have taken some in-depth stuff on options, and I could not tell you how to trade them today. I mean, it's just something you have to spend a ton of time doing, learning, and understanding. So, Ben, to kind of go back to your question, yeah, in terms of options, I don't do options with any stocks or commodities or futures trading or anything like that. I just pretty much just buy and sell the direct contract, and away we go. Option edX, random walk also. Yeah, well, that's just it, man. I mean, I know there's a ton of platforms. I think I was on, what the hell was I on? I was a couple of different platforms. I think the main one that they have a great options software on it is Interactive Brokers, and they did they have a bang up job with all their simulators and simulated options trading and everything like that. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But again, like I say, just options is just a whole other animal. And like I say, I've got books, I mean, it's 3 inches thick almost on options. And one of these days when I have some time, when I absolutely master the the markets and I can trade in my sleep, I might crack those books open again and really sink my teeth back into it. And I was a young man when I took that. I was in my late 20s, so maybe I didn't give it as much respect as maybe I should have. But I spent a lot of hours in front of the old screen trading and not a lot of success with it. So anyway, that's my experience with options. I'm not going to sit here and talk about those anymore. I don't want to bore you guys anymore. But yeah, Ben, like I say, with that sugar trade, I don't know what's going to happen, but it is definitely coming in at a very interesting level. Let's put it that way. And the time of year and seasonality, and there's a lot of additional stuff that I won't be able to mention here that are starting to line up on it. So very interesting. Not saying it's going to work, but definitely something to have a look at. Last thing I want to talk about real quickly was Bitcoin. Check this out, guys. Bitcoin, I discussed this the other day. This is on the daily. Just barely failed to take out this low here. And price smashed up a couple of days ago there. And it's just been trading straight sideways. So I was kind of talking about this. I don't know if you guys are Bitcoin traders. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, on crypto. But we're starting to come into, I think, some levels of resistance up in here. What will break it if we start to run for these highs? Watch out, because we could trade higher, and it might even want to push for that 12,000 level. This level that I've got up here on the chart, that's 12,000. But so far, I think what they're going to do, this was that big smash up they did here, and really just not any willingness to continue higher from there. I think we could, this could be the high that they're putting in here. If anything, maybe just a quick run above this high here and then dump it. But I definitely think they're going to take out that low there. So, if there's any crypto traders out there, just beware. It doesn't always pay to hold Bitcoin, till the end. So, yeah. That's a great. I agree, Ben. It's a great platform. IB. I have a live account with them actually, currently, and I do actually all my my other stuff through it. So, but again, I mean, Ben, like if you know how to do trade options, there probably wouldn't be a better platform out there that I would know of that you can do simulated options trading with, and it's pretty amazing. Some of the software they got in there, the options trading software in there. So anyway, I probably think I've bored you guys enough. I appreciate you coming in. One last look here. USD, Euro. Again, sideways. Nothing exciting. For me, anyway. Like I say, there's some guys, and Ben, you're part of that chat room group. There's some guys that, they eat, breathe, and sleep and live Euro. And I mean, they make money all day long in a market like this, but I'm not one of those guys. I don't really enjoy it that much. If it sweeps a high or scoops a low, then it's pretty easy to get in. Like for instance, this level down here, you can see the small consolidation area right in here. If price ever wanted to trade back down there, I could guarantee we'd probably have a reaction off of that, scoop these lows, and then get a run higher. But it's not doing anything. It's trading right in the middle. This week here for me, Euro, I'm not touching. Pound dollar, like I say again, pop higher, run lower. Ultimate target just down there, sub 141.50 levels is where I'm looking for them to drive price. Now again, if we break higher and the candle closes higher than this, obviously wait, don't get into a trade, see what they want to do. But if they go any higher than here, then they definitely are going to take it higher for the week to finish off the week. So you don't want to be trading short on it. So just be mindful of that, guys. And Euro GBP obviously will need to confirm that too. This should be pushing up nicely, should be clearing out these highs up in here in order for the pound dollar to start clearing the lows in here. And then again, US CAD pretty much was the bulk of the movement here today that I saw. So I want to wait for price to maybe pick a definite direction, but I do think we're going to be going lower on CAD, ultimately down to here. I called this retracement though beautifully. I knew it was going to happen, swept it nicely. So great little trade on that today. Oh, that's pretty much about it. This Aussie trade is, hopefully we'll get another push higher here. I got my targets up quite a bit higher than that, about another, what are we, about another 40 pips higher. So hopefully we'll see that come to fruition here before too long. So don't have to babysit that. And crude oil, like I was saying, monster move on this. I really want to get, I'm just dying to get in on this, but I do not want to chase price up here. Got a little bit of action back in here last week on it, but I didn't, I'll be honest with you, I didn't, sorry, last week. This was last week. I got a little this action last week on it, but I honestly, I haven't really done much with it this week. I've been focusing on other pairs, and it actually really didn't do anything. It just retraced Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday just exploded. And I was looking at it too. I was honestly sitting here in front of the chart Wednesday morning about this time, and this is what it did. It did this big pop up here and was trading sideways. And to myself, I was like, you know what? They probably want to come back down and scoop some of the lows here. I'm going to wait on it and not do anything. And they just tick, 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 boom. Ran it higher again, chopped it sideways, and I was actually sleeping when it did this, so I wasn't even around. And then I woke up to basically this, and it's too far gone after that. There's no way this close to a high that I'm going to start chasing price. And then they did this sort of midday, or sorry, close to the end of the day, high, run high here, retracement. And then I was very surprised actually that they pushed it up the last 3 hours of the day up to the levels that it hit. Very, very surprised. Now it's going sideways, so love to get in on this, but I don't want to be buying up here yet. I want to see a good retracement down before I do. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. If you got any questions, I appreciate you sticking around, listening to me babble on here for a little bit. I wasn't necessarily looking for a trade today. I'm going to be doing a New York Open session in about 8 hours from now, so that's kind of the one that I'll be hunting for a trade. I just want to go get a good night's sleep and be back at it tomorrow. So I hope you guys do the same. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate that. And once again, if you haven't checked this out, do so up here, because I think you're going to find a lot of value. Ben, obviously, I know you're all a part of this, so I thank you for that. And I hope you guys again have a great night, and we will catch up to you in about 8 hours from now for the New York Open trading session. Thanks, guys. Catch you then.